A mind divided, the chains of colonialism. Colonialism was brutal, a dark chapter in our history. It was more than land occupation, it was a systematic takeover of our lives. It aimed to control the African mind. Our languages were suppressed, our stories silenced. Our cultures were deemed inferior, our traditions mocked and marginalized. This was the essence of mental colonization, a deep-rooted psychological warfare. The colonizers instilled a sense of inferiority, making us doubt our own worth. They told us our ways were backward, our knowledge primitive. They said their knowledge was superior, their ways the only path to progress. This mental conditioning continues to affect us, lingering in our collective psyche. It shapes our perceptions and limits our potential, creating invisible barriers. Decolonizing the mind is a process of liberation, a reclaiming of our identity. It is about dismantling these colonial structures, breaking free from mental shackles. It is about reclaiming our authentic selves, embracing our heritage with pride. It is a journey back to our roots, a return to our true essence. The impact of colonialism is deep and lasting. It is visible in the loss of our languages. Many African languages are endangered. This loss of language is a loss of identity. Our traditional education systems were dismantled. They were replaced with Western models. This disrupted the transmission of indigenous knowledge. It created a disconnect from our past. The legacy of colonialism is also economic exploitation. Our resources continue to be extracted for the benefit of others. This neo-colonialism perpetuates our dependence. The influence of the West is still pervasive. We see it in our education systems, we see it in our media, we see it in our consumption patterns. This neo-colonialism is subtle but powerful. It perpetuates the idea of Western superiority. It makes us question our own values. We must be critical of this influence. We must question the narratives we are fed. We must promote our own stories, our own images, our own voices. Section 4. Ancient Wisdom, Modern Solutions, Rediscovering Our Knowledge. Africa has a rich history of indigenous knowledge. Our ancestors were masters of agriculture, medicine, and astronomy. This knowledge is still relevant today. For example, traditional medicine is holistic. It treats the mind, body, and spirit. It is based on sustainable practices. We must revive and integrate this knowledge into our modern lives. Our cultural values emphasize community, respect, and harmony with nature. These values are essential for building a just and sustainable future. Joshua Maponga emphasizes the urgent need to decolonize the African mind. He argues for shedding the lingering influence of Western ideologies. Maponga highlights the importance of reconnecting with and reclaiming indigenous knowledge systems. This video invites viewers to reflect on their own perceptions. It challenges the dominance of colonial narratives and inspires a return to the wisdom of our ancestors. Section 5. The Spirit of Africa, Reclaiming Our Sacred Connection. African spirituality is deeply rooted in our connection to the land. It is a bond that has been nurtured for generations, a bond that ties us to the very essence of our existence. It recognizes the interconnectedness of all things, from the smallest grain of sand to the vast open skies. This spirituality was demonized during colonization, a time when our sacred practices were labeled as primitive and backward. Our rituals, ceremonies, and beliefs were suppressed, often violently, in an attempt to erase our cultural identity. We were forced to adopt foreign religions which were imposed upon us as superior and more civilized. This spiritual dispossession has had a profound impact on our psyches, creating a sense of loss and disconnection from our true selves. Reclaiming our spirituality is about reconnecting with our ancestors who guide us and offer wisdom from the past. It is about honoring our sacred traditions, which have been passed down through the ages and hold the key to our identity. It is about healing the wounds of the past and finding a path forward that respects and celebrates our rich heritage. Section 6. Breaking Free, a journey of self-discovery and cultural revival. Decolonizing the mind is a personal and collective journey. It starts with self-reflection. We must examine our own biases. We must challenge our own internalized oppression. We must learn our history. We must read the works of African scholars and activists. We must engage in critical dialogue about our experiences. We must support African artists, writers, and musicians. We must create platforms for our own narratives. We must reclaim our cultural heritage. Section 7, A New Dawn Towards an African Renaissance. Imagine an Africa free from mental slavery, where the chains of the past are broken and the future is bright. An Africa that embraces its diversity, celebrating the rich tapestry of cultures, languages, and traditions. An Africa that is confident in its identity, blending the old with the new and standing tall on the global stage. This is the promise of a new African Renaissance, a rebirth that heralds a brighter tomorrow. This Renaissance will be driven by our youth, the torchbearers of change and innovation. They will inherit this legacy of decolonization, carrying forward the dreams of our ancestors. They will build a future rooted in our values, nurturing the land and communities with care and dedication. The journey will be challenging, filled with obstacles and trials, but the rewards will be immeasurable as we achieve milestones and celebrate our collective success. Let us embark on this path together, united in purpose and vision. Let us reclaim our minds, our spirits, and our destiny, forging a future that honors our past and inspires generations to come. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to join us on this journey.